another one right here where it comes through real wet. I just want to watch her and listen right now. She kept cutting, but I mean it bogged the engine down. Hey, what's going on, folks? Bienvenue. My name is Wade, and this is Sabine River Valley. So today, I'm going to try to take care of something that I've been needing to for a while, but it just won't stop raining here, and it's been making it hard to do that. So behind me, I've got a ton of grass that just needs to be cut. I mean, and this stuff is nasty, nasty, nasty. It is full of weeds. There's grass in there, but there's a lot of weeds in there too. And a lot of sandburrs, a lot of stuff like that. And it is just gross. I need to get this cut down. I'm not doing anything with it this year. Sometimes people will want this for like goat hay or something like that, but we're not doing anything with that. We're just gonna chop it all up and let it go back into the ground and kind of fuel everything for next year, right? I also got a comment the other day that somebody was like, man, get rid of them flail mowers and get yourself a sprayer and spray that stuff. And now I'm not going to get rid of my flail mowers, but I totally agree on getting a sprayer and spraying. This needs to be sprayed. It needs to be taken care of. I don't have that. And I guess I could pay someone else to come in. I'm trying not to pay other people to come in and do my work. I want to do this stuff on my own, but to do that, you know, you've got to pay for the equipment. So this is really gross over here, but I'm going to show you something. So I don't think this area back here had been taken care of for a long time. I don't think they had sprayed that for a long time, but they did spray certain areas on the property for hay. And I want to show you the difference. Now, this hasn't been sprayed in a couple of years, but I want to show you the difference between this out here and this right here. So check this out. Now, I want you to look at this. Look how good that looks. That looks so much better than that out there. And again, this is years of, I guess you want to call it, neglect. And this over here has been taken care of sort of recently. So anyway, this out there needs that. I know that absolutely. Hopefully, maybe, you know, here soon, either I'll pay someone to come do it or I'll be able to do it myself. So anyway, but we do need to get this cut. And it rained last night. It wasn't supposed to rain at all yesterday, and I was hoping that it would just kind of dry out. But it rained yesterday afternoon, not last night, but yesterday afternoon, and it rained for hours, and it just will not stop. It wasn't supposed to rain, but it did. We do have sandy loam here. If you're not familiar with that, it's like being at a beach. You know, if you've seen the sand get wet, right, and the tide will kind of go out, and then after an hour or so, it just looks completely dry right there, right? And that's kind of the same thing that our soil does. That water drains out of that really quickly, and if the sun is out, or even sometimes just the wind, it will completely dry that out, and it'll be ready to go fairly quickly. Now, it doesn't dry out as fast, right? We've still got, you know, the grass and stuff will keep it moist for a little longer, but it does dry super, super fast. So today we've got a beautiful sunny day. Hopefully, I am looking at a gray cloud right now, but it's not huge, but hopefully it didn't bring anything. But hopefully it'll continue to dry out today. And I'm gonna start hopefully about 5 o'clock. So at 5 o'clock, if it hasn't rained, I will come out here and I will cut. You'll be able to see for until about 9 o'clock. So I'll cut for maybe about 4 hours at least out here, and we can get a bunch done in that time. One other thing though is that I need to go ahead that's not a word, go ahead and do a couple things on the tractor to make sure that it's ready. I did some loader work the day before yesterday. So I got her greased up. I went around and checked the bolts on the frame, the loader bolts and everything, to make sure that everything is good there. If you own a tractor, you need to do that. It might take you 20-30 minutes to walk around, check the bolts, grease your tractor, but that 30 minutes can save you thousands of dollars. So do that. Do your regular maintenance on your tractor. Whatever tool, whatever company, whatever brand of cordless drill that you use, whether it's DeWalt, whether it's Milwaukee, whether it's Ryobi, I don't care. I have Ryobi. I have a ton of Ryobi. I have a ton of Ryobi batteries. So I have all these batteries. So I went out and bought a Ryobi grease gun. And just, it doesn't matter what kind of tool it is, just whatever you have the most batteries of, go get you a grease gun from them and learn to love greasing your tractor. It will extend the life of your tractor just tremendously, greatly, whatever, you know. So bigly, right? You'll take care of your tractor if you're doing that, and your tractor will take care of you. It'll always be there for you. So get you a grease gun, do that all the time. But anyway, so I've got to go up there though, and I haven't greased the mower in about probably about 10 hours. So it's time to put some grease in that. So I need to do that, make sure I got fuel in there. I want to go through, clean out the radiators. So my AC hasn't been getting super cool. It's cool in there, but it hasn't been getting super cool. And this is in like 85-degree weather. So I'm kind of worried about that. And I'm almost, next month will be my 2-year owning this tractor. So I'm almost up on the 2-year warranty, and I want to make sure that everything on it is working the way it's supposed to before that ends. So I'm going to go in there and really clean out that radiator to make sure that that's not what's causing, clean out between the fins and everything, and make sure that's not what's causing it to not get cool. Because if that's not it, then I want to take it in and get that looked at by my dealer before my warranty runs out. So anyway, I'm gonna do a couple things like that right now, but then hopefully around 5 o'clock, we'll be able to come out and actually start cutting. So yeah, just stay with me. And if you like watching flail mowers cut or any kind of cutting, then this ought to be a pretty cool video. All right, well, we'll get to it. All right, so she doesn't look bad in here, but you can't always completely tell just by looking at it like this. So I'm gonna get a air compressor and a little tool for that to get down in here and actually clean this out. So this is the tool I'm gonna be using. It connects, directly up to my air hose. It's got a little grip there to trigger to turn on and off, and then you can get it down into thin areas, and it's crimped pretty tight down there at the end. If you can see that or not, I don't know if you care to, but it just gives it a really high air pressure when it's in there. So got that hooked up. I want to go ahead and get these screens off, both of them, because they'll let me get back there. The time to do this is when the tractor has not been on, because it gets hot in here, and I've definitely burned my hands and my arm just barely brushing against something. So if you can do it after the tractor has been off for just a little bit, that's your best time. Needs to come out this way. Yeah. So not bad, but there's a little bit of grass on there. We'll get all that off. Oh, that one had some stuff in it. So we'll get all this cleaned off. I'm going to spray from the opposite side. If you can see in there, there's a good amount of junk on this radiator, and this might be the AC one. I'm not 100% sure. I see 3 different radiators in here. There's this one up front, one right behind it in the middle, and then this huge one back here. So now you want to be real careful when you're doing this, because you don't want to hit these fins on your radiator. This metal on metal will bend these, so you don't want to do that. So as carefully as you can, get in here and do this, but try not to touch these fins on this at all. So I got all these cleaned out, and they look pretty good. So while I was in here though, I did know that I'm a little bit low on the min line on the antifreeze. So I might go get me some of that and fill that up. I do know that the Deutz engines, those tractors require a little bit different antifreeze than the rest of the tractors. I'll throw that up on the screen, what that is, but I want to make sure that I have that at the correct level before I do any testing on this. But other than that, I think she's good. She should do a good job cooling if the AC is working. All right, so I know this is going to be kind of hard to see back here, but right here is the minimum line, and I'm way below that, and here's the maximum line up here for the coolant. So there's a fill port right back here. What I'm going to be using is this Zurex from Valvoline. It's yellow in color, which matches the color that's actually in the container already. But this here, I pulled up the product information sheet on it, and it is DQC CB14. It meets that standard, which is a Deutz standard. So I called my dealer and made sure first before I put this in there. He was really surprised that it wasn't the blue fluid, the G48, I think, from Zurex. But this is yellow, so I'm going to put it back in. One of the things you have to be careful of is a lot of times the color of your coolant matters. You can't mix certain coolants together. I believe if it's a universal, you can do whatever, but don't take my word on that. Either go by your manual or call your dealership and talk to them about which one to use. That's what I did. I'm gonna go with this. It's yellow, it matches this color, and it meets the requirements for the Deutz engine. So I'm gonna get this topped off and then we'll get to cutting, hopefully. All right. So that's 8 fluid ounces. You know what? Hold on. Got me a funnel. Because I'm the type that will spill this. All right, 8 ounces. Okay. So that got close. Or, I mean, I would think it may be about halfway to the minimum mark. Eight ounces. So we're over that minimum line. And I kind of, I might do one more. All right. 8 ounces. All right, I'm gonna crank this up and we'll watch this for a minute. All right, we're ready to go here. I have got the mower out. Now, my mower will swing out further than my wheels on the side. So I've got it pulled in just a little to try to get right there on the wheels. So when I come back on my next cut, I can just get in where my wheels are and then know that I'm gonna be, you know, I won't be having a big gap in my cut, right? So I've got that set up right now, and we've got the air running. It's kind of cool. I feel like it might be a little cooler, I'm not sure, but I do know that it's in the, it's like 93 degrees right now, 94 degrees. So it's hot outside, and we'll see what she does. So let's get this cranked up. Get her up to speed. First time through, I'm gonna do a slower cut, but once I have my path, then I will speed her up. So right now I'm in medium 1. We'll just kind of see what that does. All right, here we go. Cut looks good. I've got some markers for a fence here. So I'm starting out on right here. I'll swing back by the other way and clean this up, but I don't want to mess those up. There's an area coming up here where we hold water for a little bit longer. So I don't know if it's going to be wet or not. It might be. Man, I love this. It's so nice of a cut. Bring her up on my screen too. You know, I haven't really talked to y'all about this screen in a while, and you know, I'm not going to do a whole review on it, but I'll tell you a few things about it. It's nice to have. It's nice to have just to be able to look really quickly up there, but the quality in the cameras right now with reverse cameras, basically the best you can get is called AHD, and it's only a 1080p resolution. They don't really have reverse cameras that are 4Ks yet. And you just don't get the quality. The screens, you can get 4K screens, but usually what they do is let you put 4 1080p footages, signals, whatever up, right, at the same time. So you're not actually looking at a 4K image. It's just that the screen can support the 4K resolution, but the cameras don't. And they are nice to have in certain situations, but right now there's a lot of times when they do not replace actually seeing it with your eyes. So even though I've got these here, and every once in a while they do keep me from having to turn around and look, most of the time I still turn around and look. So would I do it again? Absolutely. I would put them in there. I would have that. But just know that if you're going to put a screen in on your tractor, it's not going to replace your eyes right now. The technology's not there yet, and it's coming. It's just not there yet. Just looks so good back there. I got to talking and didn't turn where I wanted to turn, but it's okay. I'll go ahead and mark this section out. Got a camera outside filming this, and I hope it does okay because it's hot. And sometimes these cameras don't like this hot weather. So hopefully she's okay out there. Some really thick stuff right here. Yep, and it don't care, it just eats it. So we're coming up on this this is the real wet spot on our property. This is where all that water runs through. And this is where it was having trouble a second ago, cutting. And so I think this is still pretty wet down in here. And I think that might have something to do with this. And that time at this speed, it went through just fine. And here's another one right here, where it comes through real wet. I just want to watch her and listen right now. She kept cutting, but I mean it bogged the engine down. right, so I got that front section cut, and it looks really good. The cut was really good, but there were a number of times where I was going through it, and I'm at medium 3 is where I like to cut at. It gives me about 5 miles an hour, and it would just bog down in that. And I moved it down to medium 1 a couple of times, and it even bogged down in medium 1 up here. And I'm going to show you this. So right here, I don't know if I can help you see that, but that, we're going to walk down into, I know it's really tough to see, but right now we're walking down into a section here, and this is a, let's see if I can, so if I put you on the ground and make it level, you should just be looking at the ground in front of you, because it's a hill right there. And this section would be a pond if it wasn't for the sandy loam. This would always have water in it, but that sandy loam lets that kind of just, you know, drain out, right? So it drains through that sand. And there is right here, if we walk, so coming down our property here and coming through here is where all the water runs. So right now where I'm walking, this is where all the water runs through. And I know it's just really tough to see this, to get a perspective, but everywhere, this is at an angle through where I was cutting. So there's an angle here, and as I would cut, it would follow that in the angle. That's where it would bog down at. So I don't know if I got a good image of it. If I did, I'll try to show you, but you could see where the top half of the grass was dry, but the bottom half was wet. So it was really wet, really thick stuff through here, and it just made it really hard to cut. You know, that flail mower has a gate on the back, and if I didn't want to mulch it all up, I could swing that gate up and it would just cut through one time and throw it out, and it would be totally fine. But the thing of it mulching all that grass over and over inside that drum, that's what makes that a, you know, a real horsepower hog, is to do that. But you get a cleaner cut when you're done over what a rotary cutter would leave. And I mean, out here in a field like this, does that really matter? I don't know. Maybe not. But I just like the way it looks. And I mean, I don't hate rotary cutters. You know, I would use a rotary cutter. I'd love a huge bat wing out here. That would make this so much faster. But anyway, so it just was tough on it when it got it in there in that drum, that wet grass, and was trying to cut through it. But it was just in these sections where this water, where the water stays here most of the time. This all stays wet much longer than the rest of the field does. But anyway, I mean, it was a good cut. It looks great out here. You know, I'm actually walking through it. Earlier, there's no way I would have walked through here, no way. So now I'll be able to see the hogs coming out, and maybe I can get rid of a few of them, because they like to sneak up in that grass and go for our garden and stuff. So anyway, but this is it. Nice cut. Oh, and can y'all see that? I don't know if you can or not, but there's a rainbow right there as we finish. So you say that, the Noahic, is that how you say that? Noahic covenant? So I guess it's Noahic covenant time right now with the rainbow in the background. Anyway, that looks awesome. So I hope that y'all enjoyed that, and just leave you with some of these views of the sunset out here. It's absolutely beautiful. So anyway, one more thing. So the AC, she was cool, but she wasn't cold like I'm used to her being. And I called my dealer and talked to him about it and told him what I was doing, cleaning it out, cleaning out the radiator screens, cleaning out the radiator fins, topping off the coolant, and, you know, confirmed that I was using the right coolant and everything. And told him, you know, I was gonna test this out and see what it did. And he was like, yeah, if it doesn't, bring it in. We'll throw a gauge on it and make sure that, first off, you've got enough Freon in there and everything. So looks like the old girl's gonna have to go in for a checkup. But yeah, it kind of stinks, but it gives me an excuse to go hang out with my dealer for a little bit, check out some of the cool stuff they've got. So anyway, all right. Well, I think this is going to be it. I appreciate y'all watching, and Lord willing, I'll see y'all on the next one.